What has Eric Trump been up to since his father left office? How about attacking cancel culture, slamming his home state of New York, and even headlining an event for anti-vaxxers? Yep, the younger Trump has been quite busy. Keep watching to see what else he's done. Although Eric Trump is reportedly worth over $25 million, according to Forbes, the businessman has seemingly been more than willing to spend taxpayer money rather than his own over the past few years. One 2017 trip to Uruguay cost $97,830 in taxpayer dollars, per The Washington Post, thanks to the expensive hotel bills he racked up while promoting the Trump Organization. And taxpayers continued footing the bill for Eric's protection even after his dad was no longer president, as The Washington Post found out. In the first year after Donald Trump left office, Eric, along with siblings Ivanka Trump, Donald Trump Jr., and Tiffany Trump, spent over $850,000 on travel and hotels for their security detail. Under normal circumstances, the Secret Service is no longer required to protect the adult family members of a former president once a new leader has moved into the White House. But Donald decided to demand an additional 6 months of protection for his children, as well as a few of his former staffers. Protection for Eric alone cost $241,000, and some of that money went straight into the Trump family's pockets, since the Secret Service had to book rooms in Trump properties to accompany him on trips. Shortly before Trump supporters attempted to seize the U.S. Capitol building in Washington, D.C., the former president's family members were urging Republicans to stand up against the, quote, fraud that they argued had cost Donald Trump the election, per CNN. Eric Trump warned in a since-deleted tweet, "I will personally work to defeat every single Republican senator, congressman who doesn't stand up against this fraud. They will be primaried in their next election, and they will lose." During the Save America march that took place on the White House Ellipse on January 6, 2021, Eric's brother echoed his thoughts, as Politico reported. Donald Trump Jr. insisted to those Republicans, many of which may be voting on things in the coming hours, "You have an opportunity today. You can be a hero or you can be a zero. The whole world is watching, folks. Choose wisely." When the Trump family began to feel the consequences of their supporters launching a deadly invasion of the U.S. Capitol building, Eric Trump was quick to blame cancel culture. The events of January 6th led to a widespread boycott of the Trump Organization, causing Eric to tell AP News, "We live in the age of cancel culture, but this isn't something that started this week. It is something that they have been doing to us and others for years. If you disagree with them, if they don't like you, they try and cancel you." According to the New York Times, many of the organization's biggest partners had swiftly cut ties with the Trump family and their brand, including Deutsche Bank and Signature Bank. Donald Trump was reportedly most upset about the relocation of a prestigious golf tournament, which was supposed to be held at one of his courses. Jim Richardson, the president of PGA of America, told the newspaper, "It has become clear that conducting the PGA Championship at Trump Bedminster would be detrimental to the PGA of America brand." Nevertheless, Eric stayed positive about his father's chances of recovering from the boycott, telling AP News, "You have a man who would get followed to the ends of the earth by 100 million Americans. My father created the greatest political movement in American history. His opportunities are endless." When the AP News reporter asked whether he felt that Donald was responsible for stirring up the crowd at the U.S. Capitol, Eric seemingly hung up. Eric Trump was mocked on social media when, in an interview with Fox News' Sean Hannity, he made a series of wild claims about his father's presidency. Eric lamented, "They want to tar and feather the man. They know he did a great job for this nation. They know that there's never been a more beloved political figure in our country's history." As many pointed out, Donald's actual approval ratings told a different story throughout his presidency. According to Gallup, the president managed to hit a record low overall score of 41%, and his final approval rating in January 2021 was a shockingly terrible 34%.
Thank you very much.
Eric also told Hannity there are 75 million Americans who would follow Donald Trump to the end of Earth. The younger Trump went on to add, "I mean, they love the man. They love what he stands for." While 74 million voters did side with the Republican incumbent, the number sounds less impressive in the context of the 81 million who voted for Joe Biden. Eric has a history of exaggerated claims about his father. In 2019, he appeared on Fox and Friends to insist that, quote, 95% of Americans agreed with Donald's message, which was far from the truth in terms of statistics. According to Politico, Eric insisted at the time, "My father is in there, and he's fighting every single day. And he has to fight against the media. He has to fight against these lunatics." Eric Trump can boast of playing a major role in the Trump Organization as its executive vice president, overseeing the family's business interests across real estate, hotels, golf courses, casinos, and more. Unfortunately for him, the organization has also been repeatedly accused of fraud. The Trump family's legal troubles intensified in July 2021 when the Manhattan District Attorney's Office formally charged the organization, per CNN, accusing the company of falsifying financial records over 15 years. Chief Financial Officer Alan Weisselberg was also charged with 15 felony counts, including criminal tax fraud, grand larceny, and taking part in a scheme to defraud the government. Former ally Michael Cohen told NBC's Meet the Press,
I truly believe that they could indict Donald Trump tomorrow if they really wanted and be successful. I can assure you that Donald Trump is guilty of his own crimes.
He also said that Eric and the other Trump children were likely targets of the investigation into their family's organization. And during an appearance on MSNBC's The Readout, he suggested that Donald would, quote, flip on all of his kids to save his own skin. In a 2021 interview with Fox News, Eric Trump complained about the scrutiny his family's business affairs had received, accusing the Democratic Party of trying to bury the Trumps in subpoenas. As CNN reported, his father Donald Trump has also faced legal scrutiny over the January 6 riot at the U.S. Capitol building, as well as defamation lawsuits and licensing skirmishes. Eric told Fox News,
"And the reason I'm frustrated about this is every single day since my father ran for president, my father and our entire family and our company has been under investigation."
He continued airing his grievances by accusing the Democratic Party of using the DOJ, military, education system, and even the medical system to go after the Trumps.
The Democrats weaponize absolutely everything they can to use against their political opponents.
Eric Trump has stretched the truth on a few subjects, but his most baffling claim might have been when he told Sean Hannity that Donald Trump was single-handedly responsible for the COVID-19 vaccine. The businessman insisted to Sean Hannity, my father was producing the vaccine. By the way, people were taking it in record numbers. He went on to disparage Joe Biden's own record on the coronavirus, alleging, he's actually scared America about the vaccine, which hadn't happened under my father. According to the CDC's own data, the number of daily vaccinations actually peaked in April 2021, a few months after Biden took over. On April 1st alone, 4.5 million doses were administered. Americans were relatively hesitant about the jab in December 2020 at the end of Donald Trump's presidency, according to polling by the Kaiser Family Foundation, which found that roughly a quarter of the general public was skeptical at the time. Liz Hamill, vice president of the Kaiser Family Foundation, explained to factcheck.org, "We haven't seen any sign that vaccine hesitancy has increased over time. It's pretty remarkable. You rarely see something that stays that stable over time." When New York Attorney General Letitia James first began investigating the Trump Organization in a probe that required Eric Trump's testimony, per BBC News, he made it very clear how he felt. The former president's son tweeted at the time, "Without any basis, the New York Attorney General has pledged to take my father down from the moment she ran for office." And after the Trump Organization's chief financial officer was charged with fraudulently hiding millions in taxes from the government, Eric appeared on Fox News in July 2021 to insist that New York itself was the problem.
Crime is rampant. People are leaving the city in record numbers. It's dirty. It's disgusting. New York's no longer what it is.
The businessman then went on to suggest that the investigation was only happening because investigators feared that Donald Trump would run for president again. In February 2021, Patrick Harvey, one of the leaders of Scotland's Green Party, proposed an investigation into the financing behind 2 Trump golf courses in Aberdeenshire and Ayrshire, prompting a furious reply from Eric Trump. According to Newsweek, the younger Trump dismissed the probe as an empty gesture. saying Patrick Harvey is nothing more than a national embarrassment with his pathetic antics that only serve himself and his political agenda. The businessman went on to add, "If Harvey and the rest of the Scottish government continue to treat overseas investors like this, it will deter future investors from conducting business in Scotland, ultimately crushing their economy, tourism, and hospitality industries." Harvey was undeterred by Eric's warning, telling BBC News, "As entertaining as Eric Trump's tantrum is, he doesn't say where his dad got the money to buy his Scottish golf courses, which is exactly why I'm calling on the Scottish government to seek an unexplained wealth order." Harvey insisted that there were still, quote, "serious concerns about how the Trump golf courses were run," and suggested that the government was giving preferential treatment to wealthy businessmen like Trump over members of local communities. But the Scottish Parliament ultimately rejected the call to probe the properties, deciding that it would be an abuse of the law. Eric Trump sparked controversy when he was booked to speak at a conference called The Truth About Cancer Live, which was linked to skepticism about vaccines. The couple behind the conference, Ty and Charlene Bollinger, made their name in the world of pseudoscience by pushing unproven alternatives to chemotherapy and have since become devoted to spreading vaccine disinformation, per AP News. The couple has made millions of dollars selling an anti-vaccine video series. As NPR reported, their response to the COVID-19 vaccine drew accusations that the Bollingers have been labeled as some of the nation's biggest vaccine misinformation superspreaders. Responding to the criticism, Charlene Bollinger told NPR, "If we're superspreaders, we're superspreaders of the truth. We have countless testimonies of people that are alive today because of our work, and this is straight from heaven. God has put us on this earth for such a time as this." Eric Trump tried to distance himself from the Bollingers' views, telling the Daily Beast in an email, "I am not there to talk about vaccines. I am in Nashville to talk about the accomplishments of the 45th President of the United States." According to Eric, one of those accomplishments was the coronavirus vaccine. Eric Trump went on to add, "As to labeling something an anti-vaccine event, it wouldn't make much sense for me to attend, as a vaccinated person, if it was." Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite stuff are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.